Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. No matter where you're watching us from around the globe, I say thank you for allowing us into your homes, but most importantly, into your hearts. If you're watching us on the DBNA television network or the Rewind Sports 60 or CSTV, please continue to support those networks, the shows, this show, and those sponsors. Man, if you're listening to us in podcast form today, my man Kenny Anderson and I say turn that knob up. We're going to put that flavor in your ear. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get coached up once again by the Coach Scott Field Show. I am honored. I am humbled to have our guest on with us today. He is currently the head coach of HBCU's Fisk University, arguably the best high school player to ever play the game, a four-time parade All-American. Lou Alcindor didn't even have that honor. Kenny Anderson, coach, welcome to the Coach Scott Field Show, my man.
Coach Scott, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on your show. And, thank God for all my blessings, So thank God, man. Thank God.
Amen. I can't tell you how excited I am to have you on the show. And there's so many things we can talk about. And I mean, you've lived an unbelievable life because you were blowing up before social media. You
Yeah.
were the number one player before the internet. I mean, let's talk about your life, Kenny. And there's been ups and downs. And
Yeah.
your Mr. Chibbs
Yeah.
documentary,
Yeah.
phenomenal. So let's talk about your life and your journey. I know our viewers are going to be inspired,
Yeah.
empowered, and maybe moved to tears as they're going to be touched by your compelling story.
Yeah. My documentary is where I come from, Left Rack City, Queens, single parent. My mother raised me. I was 14 years. I've been a childhood playground legend since I was 13, 14 years old.
You were
So
recruited out of the sixth grade.
yeah, I was recruited out of the sixth grade. I had so many letters and all that, and I chose to go to Georgia Tech. Is the best decision I could have made. Well, my mother made, you know what I mean? But my life has been one big it's ups and downs, and I think right now I got it together. And I
Yes.
got it together for my family. And I just thank God that I was able to succumb to everything that I went through in my life. And now I'm just doing this. I'm coaching here at Fisk University at HBCU, one of the best HBCUs in the country academically. But they brought me in here to raise the basketball talent, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I love it. I love it. I'm just trying to build it. And in most cases, guys of my caliber, they would go to coach D1 schools and this and that, other high end, or they won't coach. But I just, it's a way to give back. And
That's right.
my high school coach I wanted to be him. My high school coach, Jack Curran, rest in peace, passed away. That was my guy. Really
That's right.
helped me out a great deal. Um, Basketball was one thing, but he just, about life. All my teachers from Archbishop Moore High School, most of them have passed away, but they was all great. I had a great time going to Malloy, and it was the beginning. It was the
That's right.
beginning of Kenny Anderson,
That's
being
right.
Kenny Anderson.
That's right. And
And I've always remember that, and I can't forget it. You
that's
know,
right.
I go back to my high school every time I'm in New York. It's great going back there to see the growth of the school. Now it's girls and boys there. When I was there, it was all boys,
Right.
and it's just an honor to go back. That school made me.
That's right.
The school made me, and it was a blessing that I went there.
Well, let's talk about that, coach, because right now you're too humble to say it, but
Yeah,
you're mentoring guys and you are to Fisk what neon primetime coach
yeah,
Sanders is to his school and to his
yeah,
institution. So I love what you're doing, but going back to LaFrac in Queens, your community helped protect you because of that's when drugs were going
Yeah.
crazy in the 80s. Let's talk about Coach Jack Curran. What did he mean to you and how did he keep you in the safe and narrow? Because I read stories where you were at the school from 7:30 in the morning till 9:30 at night, and that was your safe haven to keep you out of the streets so you could pour everything into your basketball and to your education at that time. Is that right?
Yes, that's absolutely correct. I went to my high school for 4 years straight, 7:30 in the morning to 9 at night. I did my homework and tutor in the library. So my
Wow.
school means it means everything to me.
Yeah.
I get a
Yeah.
little emotional talking about it, but it made me who I am today.
You know
Uh,
what, Kenny? That's your community. That's your
yeah,
people. And you have impacted so many lives that you probably don't even realize because
yeah,
those young kids
yeah,
remember seeing Kenny Anderson and
yeah,
being drafted by the Nets.
yeah,
And think about the kids who
yeah,
looked up to you, even though you were going through ups and downs, that was like, hey, if Kenny made it out of
yeah.
LaFrac, I can make it out of LaFrac. And what
Yeah,
does that mean to you?
it means the world to me. I'm just giving back, and people are paying attention to my growth as an
Yes.
individual.
Amen.
From
Amen.
20 years old, from 30 to 40, now 50.
That's
So
right.
it's a blessing. I'm learning a lot at this juncture in my life. Being a basketball star is one thing, but being a human being and being uh, my neighborhood is being from Left Rack City and proud of where I came from, and just to give back is a blessing that I'm able to do that. And
Yeah.
my mother raised me pretty well, I would say,
Yes.
and I really thank her for putting me into situations that I've been in.
Right. And you lost your mom, Joan, in 2005.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that was something hard to handle because she was your beacon because you never really had a relationship with your father until your 30s, correct?
Yes, correct. But my mother meant everything to me. We was like best friends, and that's why I made it. That I wanted to
Yeah.
make it for her. I
Oh,
wanted to. I bought her a big house, bought her whatever she wanted,
yeah.
whatever you
Yeah.
know, whatever
Yep.
whatever she wanted, she got it. For 20
Wow.
years, for 20 years,
Oh,
she went to London, Paris, all that, and I was able to do that, and it just felt good that I was able to afford it, that my mother was always there for me. She helped me in the craziest times. We got evicted in 2, 3 homes, but she always said we was gonna be okay, and she
wow.
always did it right for me.
Yep.
So I had to give back.
Kevin Durant said it during his MVP, Mama, you're the real MVP. And that's what I
Yeah.
hear coming from your heart right now.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. My mother was MVP of the world. Yeah, you know what
Oh,
I mean.
Coach, I love hearing that. I love hearing
She
that.
was the best. She was the best, and right now I'm doing um I'm doing what she expect me to do, what she wanted me to do, and that's to help these other young men.
Amen.
If
Amen.
that's basketball, so be it. If it's life, great. And that's what I'm trying to get to these guys. And it's not all about wins and losses, and it's about really helping them young men to get where they gotta get in life the
That's
right
right.
way, the right way. And that's what I'm
Yes.
doing.
Well, Coach, you and I, we have so many common acquaintances because I
Yeah,
was able to coach in the NBA myself. I've coached around the globe
yeah,
with FIBA. I've coached at the
yeah,
college level for 14 years, where I had a relationship with Coach Crimmins as well.
yeah.
I've gone jogging with him. Was Coach
Okay.
Crimmins being a New Yorker? Was that a major draw for you? Because I mean, you had offers. I mean, from Syracuse, North Carolina, Duke, but you chose Georgia Tech and Coach Crimmins to go play for 2 years before you got drafted to the NBA. How much of an impact was Coach Crimmins in helping you with that transition? Where I mean, arguably the best player in high school to go down to Atlanta.
He's a great influence, awesome influence. But I wanted to go to Syracuse. That was
Oh,
my, with Pearl Washington. But
oh.
my mother said you going to Georgia Tech, so I said okay.
So
So
Coach Crimmins did a great job recruiting your mama.
yeah, he recruited my mother and me because one about recruiting, you always got to be there,
That's right.
for the young men. And he was always every event I would see his gray hair,
Yes.
everything. And he'd be everywhere, everywhere. When he had the chance, he would come up to see me, and he's just not only a great coach, but he's a great human being. And I
Amen.
learned a lot from him, and it was a pleasure playing 2 years, for Coach Crimmins and Georgia Tech. It's like
Yeah.
in Atlanta. I grew up in Atlanta.
Yep.
I'm from New York, but I grew up in Atlanta. So
That's right.
that's
That's right.
just that's just what it's all about. And I love Georgia Tech. And I had a blessing in the game of basketball. I just really, you know, I was I was doing well way before the NBA.
Right.
I
Yep.
was playing well before the NBA, but the money wasn't coming in. I
Yep.
wasn't able to take care of my mother, and then my mother. When I went to the NBA, I was able to because I
Yeah.
went number 2 in the draft, so it
That's
was
right.
awesome.
That's right. Yeah. And that 91 draft, think about that. I mean, you were the number 2 pick. And I mean, Dikembe Mutombo was even drafted after you.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it was a great draft class. You end up in New Jersey. Um, but I just keep thinking, I mean, you're with Chuck Daly then. So, I mean, you go from Coach Jack Curran, who is a Hall of Famer from the
yeah,
borough. You have Coach Bobby Crimmins, and now you're with Chuck Daly in New Jersey. It had to be a whirlwind for you because now you're doing, you're getting paid to do what you love to do.
yeah. And I had to live it. I had to learn that, and I learned it. You
Yeah.
know, I had some great coaches. I had an NBA. Chuck Daly, uh, PJ Carlissimo. I had him in Portland. He was awesome. Rick Pitino in Boston. He was
Yes.
awesome. Jim O'Brien in Boston.
Oh,
All these coaches, and even Nate McMillan. He coached me in Seattle. He's a
Nate's
great
my
coach.
guy. Nate's
Yeah,
my guy.
Nate coached me. He's a great coach, man. And
Yeah.
and this is strange because you want to like a John Stockton, for instance. He played all his whole career in Utah.
Yep.
I
With
don't
Coach
know.
Sloan.
I don't know. For me, would that benefit me or not? To
Yeah.
play I played with 9 different teams, but I also learned a lot from
Yeah.
9 different teams and different coaches, different organizations and things of that nature. How people work, and befriend you and things of that nature. I was able to see it,
Yeah. Yeah.
for myself. So it was
Yep.
an awesome career I had in the game of basketball, man. Period. I don't take no regrets
Right.
from being traded and things of that nature. And
That's right.
if you traded, teams still want me. They still wanted me, so that's a great thing.
Yeah. Well, and what I hear you saying right now, Coach, you're taking all of those life lessons through the
Yep.
business end of basketball and through all the coaches that you've been blessed to learn from as you evolve as a coach. And I'm sure you're teaching all those life lessons to these student athletes at your HBCU right now because the AAU circuit, they don't get to teach those fundamentals and they don't teach those life skills. They're just, bouncing around. What are your feelings on that, Coach?
I'm kind of mixed motions about it. For the talented players, you go pro. But then there's what's the percentage? One
That's right.
percent make the NBA. So you got to give the real to some of these young men out here, and a
That's
lot
right.
of them are not getting the real because a lot of grown ups my age and better or whatever are using these kids,
Yep.
and
Yep.
so it's a bad situation. But I have to stay strong with my beliefs and what I believe in, and
Yep.
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And and that's why I wanted to coach at Fisk, and I love it here because it's a small HBCU, NAIA school, and I'm learning. I'm not learning about basketball. I'm learning about the other things. The administration part of it is
Yep.
big. and I'm
Yeah.
learning a lot more that I didn't know when I played for a big D1 school, Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
So it's just awesome that I can learn, from it, and you know, um, participate on with my team and practice, and that's the easy part. Me in the gym working practice, that's easy,
Yep.
but it's the off court things that I have to deal with,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm learning.
Yeah, working with the teachers and working with the
Yeah,
study tables and
yes,
getting, raising money for the
yes,
programs and
yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
I
That's why
remember those. I
yeah,
remember those steps.
buddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, it can be difficult at times.
Yeah, sure. But I know you're grasping at full force because of your life and because of things that you've gone through. I mean, you've had the highest of highs and you've also had to deal with the lowest of lows.
Yeah,
In the documentary, you really opened up about that. And I really feel, Coach, that some of that you're sharing now, because everybody saw the all-star player where 6% of high school kids go off to play at the next level, but then
yeah,
only 3% or 2% play in the NBA. But you were an NBA all-star, which is a 1%er.
yeah,
So you're taking lessons through those hoops, which basketball was easy for you because you were given so much God-given abilities.
yeah.
But yet the life and living life and surrounding yourself with a good support system is also so vital. Share that with our viewers today on how important it is to surround yourself with the right people to help you make those right decisions.
Oh, it's very important, and I was able to. My mentor Vincent Smith and Pierre Turner. Learning from those guys. Pierre Turner's a judge, retired judge in New York, and Vincent Smith, Kenny Smith, older brother, who worked us out a great deal. And that's another mentor of mine, Kenny Smith, who works for TNT.
Yeah.
It's like
The Jet.
that's like my family. So I saw what he did. He went to the same high school, Archbishop Malloy High School, and then he went on to North Carolina. He played with Jordan, played with Brad Daugherty, all those guys. And I was in high school, and I wanted to be like him, but I wanted to be better.
Yeah.
So I studied him. I studied him a great deal, and boom, it all worked out for me. But you really have to know who's important to you. And listen, I went to a very good high school. That's the number one thing. Archbishop Malloy with Jack Curran coaching. Vincent Smith was my mentor. Pierre Turner was my mentor. So I had some good mentors in my life.
Yeah.
So I was able to work off them and to see how life was really how life is really how it is.
Yeah.
And I came from New York City, a lot of great ballers, but I was able to conquer, because I had them in my corner.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this because, Kenny, talks a lot about, he would go back from North Carolina and go watch you play at Archbishop
Yeah,
Malloy because you had such tremendous handles and your basketball IQ, but man, you could score it. And I think that's something that Kenny was intrigued by, but yet, your abilities at basketball were just so phenomenal. Was that what drove you was to make it so that way you could have money to give back to your family?
yeah. To take care of I wanted to make it to take care of my mother. Period.
Yeah.
I you know I just had God given ability, and then I had the work ethic because Vincent Smith. We used to stay at Lost Battalion Hall, recreation centers down the block from Left Rack City. I stayed in there for hours. I did my homework in there from 3:30 to 11 at night. That's before I
Wow.
went to Malloy. So, and I used to sit on the basketball and watch all the guys play. All the great players came into Lost Battalion Hall. It was a recreation center on Queens Boulevard, and I used to watch it. And then I'll do drills, then I'll play, and I just love the game of basketball. What it gave to me, and it gave me everything. And you could never diss the game that helped me, that helped you, or helped me, perform,
There you
so
go.
well, able to
Yeah.
take care of my family was a blessing.
So you go into all those rec centers watching all those phenomenal players. That's
God,
what these young kids do today by watching YouTube.
yeah.
But who were you trying to emulate? Who did you want to be? When you were 12, 13, 14 years old, who did Kenny Anderson watch and say, I'm going to be like him?
I really didn't have. I think Kenny Smith was my guy
Okay.
I was young. I really didn't watch a lot of basketball back then because I was always in the recreation. I loved the game. I love the game, man. I just was in the recreation center working on certain things, left hand, right hand, jump shots, and running, cardio, everything. And I just worked on my game.
Yeah.
It really wasn't one person. It was just I just wanted to be the best. And then I became the best in high school as a freshman. I think what did it for me was my freshman year in high school at Malloy. I played on the varsity, and we won the city championship I ran a city championship as a
Wow.
freshman on the varsity level,
Wow.
and I just took off from there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I never played. I never started. I only
Right.
played 3 quarters my freshman year
Yeah. He
because we
never.
because we had a senior, Greg Tracy, who's a good friend of mine. I sent him a signed basketball, about 2-3 years ago for his birthday because I remember, um, and coach said, "Hey, you're not going to start, but you'll come off the bench." I was so happy that I made the varsity team. It really didn't matter to me. I was always a humble young man. I don't know where I got it from, but I was always a humble.
Yeah, and to thank you to not even start and still
I,
set all those scoring records
yeah,
as coming off the bench. Now
yeah.
that's a humble, hungry young man who was only thinking about his skills and his craft because you just wanted to win. Because I heard you say it, you just wanted to be the best. You had a work ethic that was second to none.
Yeah, and then from high school I had the work ethic, college, and then I think I lost it a little bit. I'll be honest, lost it a little bit when I made it. When I made it in the NBA,
Yeah,
I lost it a little bit. I could have. I know honestly, I could be a lot better. I could have been a lot better, but my life was it was so complete. I thought it was complete because I just wanted to make it for my mother.
yep,
So
yeah.
the
You
NBA
accomplished it. Yeah,
I accomplished what I went out for. So the
yep,
NBA, I looked at it a lot different than a lot of players looked at their career because
yeah.
I had it at 14 years old. I had everything.
Wow. Wow. And think about it. So then in 1994, you get named to be an NBA All-Star, and Coach Lenny Wilkins was your coach, and you got to play with Pippen, and you're playing against Clyde, you're playing against Barkley. What did that mean to you to be an NBA starter on the All-Star game when now you're at the pinnacle of your sport, of your craft?
I arrived. I did it. I did it all. I did it all. So I made it, and it was so exciting for me to be on the All Star team, to be selected. And it wasn't so much. I wasn't selected. I was selected. It wasn't. I didn't get on by coaches. It was
That's right.
all. I started. It was it
Yep.
was crazy. It was a crazy thing for me to get that. Something I will always remember. The '94 All Star was awesome for me to make
Well,
it.
yeah,
For
because
everything
think
I've
about it.
been through.
You earned everybody's
Yep.
respect and
Yep.
you were there. And as you looked around that locker room, what did it feel like? Take us through that because there's millions of players who dream about it and they're playing on their Nerf hoop and they're
Yeah.
shooting at their baskets at the barns. What was that like to look around the locker room and be like, okay, here we go?
But that's something. I got sick about about 2-3 years ago. I had a stroke,
That's right.
so
Yeah.
so a lot of things I don't remember, and you know, a lot of that I don't remember. But it was an awesome feeling. But
Wow.
I don't remember some of the things
Yeah.
that occurred. You know, that that that's life, man.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be alive and kicking in and being able to be on your show and just talking
Amen.
to millions of kids and just telling them my story. So
Yes, sir.
I'm just blessed from that aspect of it. But a lot of things I don't remember.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to try to remember, and
Yep.
I don't remember. I remember, you know, making it though.
Yeah.
It was a when Lenny Wilkins was coaching. It was just an awesome feeling. And that year, playing with the New Jersey Nets with Derek Coleman, Drazen Petrovic,
Ooh.
it was just awesome, man. It was
Yeah.
just it was
Yeah.
awesome.
See, and I appreciate you sharing that because people can live and vicariously through your words and through
Yeah,
your life experiences. Let's talk about, because I think you hit on something important, that, and let's keep it 100. We're just going to be real. You mentioned playing in the NBA and how you lost some of that work ethic.
yeah,
Did some of the passion of the game get taken away because you started to
yeah.
see the business of basketball, the
Yes.
politics of basketball, coaches moving, players moving,
Yeah.
you're not playing with your friends anymore, or guys you thought were your friends? Take us through those emotions.
You hit it right on the nose. It's just the business aspect of it. And I never growing up, I I had to I got older and I had to realize that. But
Yeah.
when you had the career I had in high school and college, things was different. And I was like, wow, I started getting traded and players started getting traded. It just was a different pill to swallow, you
Yeah.
know, and some can swallow it. And I swallowed it a little bit, then I got back on the horse, then I fell off, then I got back on the horse. It was just a
Right.
crazy experience
Yeah.
that, how I was dealing with the game of basketball.
Right.
Um, but it was a great ride, but it was real rocky when I
Yep.
started understanding about the business side of everything.
Right.
And I never knew the business side of it. I just thought just playing ball, enjoying everything. And then when it got older, I started realizing it.
Yeah. So for the viewers out there who are listening and watching Kenny Anderson right now, what would you tell them to keep their focus on just the basketball and let the agent and let the game take care of itself? What would you say to those players? Because that's
Yeah,
a hard one to juggle, especially when
yeah,
you're going through it and you're on that roller coaster and you love what you do, but you're like, man, this sucks.
yeah. I wish I would have just kept it kept it 100 with just basketball, and
Yeah,
then let the business side take it and don't get all emotional with it. But I think I got emotional with it.
yeah,
Now I would just say just stick with your game plan of basketball and living a good life. What I did, I started getting into, things that, women, alcohol, things that, and that's bad to go down that road, in life. And that's what I did
did
through all the, what was that?
did the alcohol just kind of numb you from the business of it? Because I mean,
Yeah,
you would go out, and I've heard stories from guys, they'd say you'd get drunk and you'd be hungover, but then you'd go out and drop 35. Do you did what was the alcohol just to numb you, to take you away from life? Because it
I,
wasn't basketball, it was life. Was
yeah,
that the
yeah,
hardest struggle?
yeah, it was the hardest struggle. Yeah, I would get numbed. I would rest up, and then
Yeah.
when you're young, you could do that. You know, I
Yeah.
rest up and I'll get 20 points, 10 assists, almost a triple double. I have a triple. It's just been crazy,
Yeah, it's just
and
easy.
that's what I would do
Yeah.
because just living life. I would,
Yeah.
and when it started happening, the business side of it, I just said the hell with it. You
Yeah.
know, because I made it. Through
Yep.
all through all high school, college, pro. There's nothing nobody could tell me about basketball that I
Yep.
haven't done.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
it's only one thing. It's only one thing that hurts me about basketball. One thing only is the NBA. I didn't get a championship. That's
Ah,
it. That's the
yeah.
only thing.
Yeah.
I didn't. I
Yeah.
didn't win a championship,
Gotcha.
and that's the only thing.
Yep. So let me ask you this, because I think, Kenny, this is wonderful, the things that you're sharing. And I appreciate your vulnerability to keep it 100, because that's not easy to do. Um, we talk about
That,
basketball, we talk about life. How hard was it? Because you also opened up and talked about being sexually abused. Now,
Yeah,
I can't imagine what that was like to
yeah,
hold that in and keep that in all those
yeah.
years. And how important is it for African American men? Because my adopted son is African American who plays professional ball. But speak to him right now. How important is it for African American men to go seek counseling when they need
You
help?
have you have to go seek counseling, when that happens. And I think that's where all my demons came from.
Yeah.
All of them, because when I was molested when I was younger, and I
Wow.
just kept it under the rug, and to this day, my mother don't know
Right.
because she passed away, and I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know if I was able to. I don't know if she was still living. I was able to say it. My
Oh,
documentary, I was able to get it out then, and it helped me a great deal with my life. But I think
yeah.
I went. I think that was going on with me. I know, no, it was. I knew that was going on with me. I
Yeah.
just had it rough. I had everything given to me in high school, college, and then pros.
Yep.
I just kind of just said, hey, the hell with it. Let me just live my life the
Yeah.
way I wanted to live, and that's not correct. That's not a correct thing to do. And my documentary came out. Now I'm able to talk about it. I'm able to
Yeah.
talk to you about it. I'm able to talk to people about it.
Yeah.
I think it should be more. Tons of athletes been out there living a lie, but
Yeah.
you're not able to speak on it.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where I was able to speak on it, and it helped millions. I hope I know it helped a lot of kids because
Oh,
I've always been.
amen.
I know, and that's what my main objective is just to help others. Help
Wow.
others. If that's
Kenny, that,
basketball, if that's life,
yeah.
I gotta be real. And a lot of us is not real in life. We just think everything is hunky dory, go about my business and all that. But
Yeah.
if you able to speak on it and tell your story, man, you don't know how many people you can help. And that's
I,
what it's about.
Kenny, God bless you for having the courage to say that because it is going to impact lives. And there's going to be someone out there who you're going to touch who you may just saved their life.
Yes.
Because if Mr. Chibbs went through it, Mr. Kenny Anderson, the
Yeah.
basketball player, was able to survive that because basketball was your sanctuary.
Yes.
But again,
Yes.
there's life. There's
Yep.
life. And so thank you, Kenny, for saying that. You know what? It's okay not to be okay and go seek help when
Yep.
you struggle. Because I'm sure all that pain that you held within, something had to eat up at you, and basketball was your only safe place. So I understand.
Yeah, just not knowing about life and just playing, fairy tale.
Yeah,
I was everybody's fairy tale. Just playing basketball as the number
yeah,
one recruit,
yeah,
number one college player, number two in the draft. It was
yeah,
just my life was easy,
yeah.
but I was hiding a lot of things that I've been through in my life, and
Wow.
I had to get it out, and the documentary let me do that, and it's just it's a shame that more people don't come out and help others.
Yeah. So basically, Kenny Anderson, the personality, the player, was out there giving everybody what they wanted, but inside,
Yes.
you were in pain and you were hurting. That's what I hear you saying.
Oh, definitely. I was hurting, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You have to just deal with it, and I've dealt with it. And now I just try to give back to these young men that I'm coaching here at
Yep.
Fisk, and
That's right.
life is going well right now. And I just pray to God that each day my family, my friends that I care about are doing well in their life, in their venture,
That's right.
what they
That's
plan,
right.
what they got planned.
Coach, not only are you coaching basketball, you're coaching life, you are
Yeah,
mentoring, you're leading and guiding, directing these young kids who you and I both know the world needs more people out there to give of their time and their service and
and
let
I
people learn through your experiences. And I love that about what you're doing right now.
and I tell you, coaching here at Fisk, man, you don't know how much it helps, how much it helped me. If
Wow.
you only knew, if they only
Yep.
knew,
Yep.
it's a blessing that I'm here and I'm able to coach. I
So
love it.
the president of Fisk, who you met in Atlanta, that was basically your life jacket. He threw you a
Yeah,
life jacket.
yeah,
Now you're at Fisk. living the life that you've always wanted to live, and now you're able to give back to the game
Yep.
and be an ambassador of the game for these young lives that who you're now impacting.
Yep. Yep. Uh,
Oh, wow.
President Rome helped me a great deal by giving me the job, and now I'm just trying to give it back,
That's right.
build up the program and things of that nature, and it's an awesome accomplishment that I'm coaching here, and I got to know that. I got to know that. I got to live the right way, and it's a good thing for
Yep.
me. It's a
Yep.
good thing for me.
Well, hey, this is what I love. You were a point guard on the court, and so you were leading the team, and now you're a point guard in life.
Yep.
And right now, as the coach, as the point guard in life, you've always been a true PG, but right now, God is not done with you yet, coach. And man, I know great things are happening for you. I am thrilled for you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kenny Anderson on the Coach Scott Field Show. And we've got about 10, 12 more minutes. And we're just going to continue talking basketball because I know you guys are loving, because I'm seeing a lot of reactions. I'm seeing questions coming in. Let's talk about the top players in New York. Mark Jackson, Steph Marbury, God Shamgod, Kenny the Jet Smith, Rafer Skip to Malou. You talked about Pearl Washington. In your mind, who is your Mount Rushmore of New York City point guards?
Well, it's Pearl Washington one, Kenny Smith, Rod Strickland, and Mark Jackson for me.
Ooh, okay.
Those are Mount Rushmore. I don't need to get accomplishments. I already know what I've done in the New York City history of it. It's a blessing. But those are the guys I looked up to.
Wow.
They was always before me. They played the point guard the right way. And
Oh, I lost you.
Kenny Anderson. And I love it. I love it. But we have so many point guards in New York. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Shamgard, another awesome point guard.
Yeah.
Stephon Marbury, Skip to Malou, Rayford Orford, they all NBA and things like that nature. It's so many. Boo Harvey, Kenny Hutchinson, Boo Harvey. Kenny Patterson, who went to DePaul. He was awesome. So it really, but everybody say it's me, and I love it. When they give me credit, but it's so many great. Tiny Archibald.
Tiny.
He's from the Bronx. He's awesome. Somebody I really looked up to when I went to the Boston Celtics, that I had to wear number 7. So it goes. New York is the heart of basketball. You ask me.
Hey, it's the breeding ground for ballers.
Yep.
I grew up in Indiana, but I knew New York and Chicago and LA. I mean, hey, y'all came with it hard, man.
Yeah, definitely.
So let me ask you this. When you were in the NBA, who was your favorite teammate and why?
Wow. Well, my favorite teammate when I first went to the New Jersey Nets was Raphael Addison. He went to Syracuse. He just was a great teammate of mine. We hung out. We went to eat a lot. We talked about life. We talked about the game. Raphael Addison is my guy, man. I love him to death, and I know he's doing real well. Derek Coleman is a good teammate. Drazen Petrovic was a great teammate. Chris Martin, like my Nets team, I learned some good things about, just about life playing with the Nets. It was I played with some great Benoit Benjamin, Sam Bowie,
man.
even guys, even Mookie Blaylock. We played the same position. We got traded. We traded him, and then he opened up the door for me. But he was a great point guard. So it just, but Raphael Addison was my guy, man. It's a great team.
That's awesome.
My guy.
I love hearing that. And again, you played for Rick Pitino and Chuck Daly. At the NBA level, Who did you learn the most basketball from? I mean, who was the best manager of egos, or who was the best motivator? I mean, who were those guys that you're like, okay, you're taking from their bag and you're incorporating it into your style and philosophy of coaching there at Fisk?
Oh, a lot of it has to do with all the coaches I played from. So I try to take a lot from my mentor, Coach Jack Curran, my high school. He was a real strict oriented coach.
Yeah,
So I can't be strict nowadays. So Rick Pitino was very strict coach. Jim O'Brien was a very good coach. Nate McMillan, I take some things from PJ Carlissimo. So I had some great coaches in my life, and I try to take bits and pieces from each coach that I had
yep.
to help my program.
There you go.
So it was just, a lot of coaches are different
Yep.
in their ways and things of that nature.
That's right. And we all got to be pirates and we steal from each other,
Yeah.
but you have to make it fit your personality because,
Yeah.
Coach, let's be honest, great players make great coaches out of us in a hurry.
I got to get some great players and I'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Well, what was your favorite arena to play in?
I love playing I played 5 years in Boston. The Boston Garden was awesome. I love playing Madison Square Garden, going back home.
Ooh.
I love playing in the Forum in LA. It was great. And I'm gonna tell you a story. I played in the Forum, and my mother, we loved watching Columbo together.
Oh.
So the first year, my rookie year, Peter Falk was at the game.
Oh.
So I went and I told him that. I said, hey, I told him that, and I called my mother right after the game and told him I met him. So it was just an awesome thing, man.
That's great. I love that. So let me ask you this, changing gears. Let's have some fun with this. When you were in New York and you're playing in the Garden,
Yeah.
where was your favorite place to go eat?
Wow. In New York, we got so many restaurants.
Yep.
So I just used to like all the steak spots.
Okay.
But I used to go, they had the Shark Bar many years ago. The Shark Bar, I used to go in there. All the athletes and players used to go in there and eat. The Shark Bar. There's so many restaurants. I forget the name of them.
I love it. Well, let me ask you this. You're a competitor and you
Yeah.
love the game. Who did you mark your calendar for, and who did you get the most hype to say, okay, I got to step my game up because I'm playing this guy tonight? Who was that point guard who pushed you and challenged you the most?
Well, all the players, when I looked at the schedule, I knew all the great point guards of Gary Payton, John Stockton, then the Nick guards I had to go against. It was great. I just wanted to be competitive that night with all the guards.
Yep.
All the guards was the Nick Van Exel for the Lakers was awesome. You had to be ready. You had to get your rest and go at it every
That's
night.
right.
It was good. It was good point guards, and I had to be ready. But out west was really, really tough with Gary Payton, John Stockton, Nick Van Exel. Derek Harper was in Dallas, and he came over to play the Knicks. He was tough. It goes on and on. You just got to be competitive. You got to just tie them up and play basketball wherever you at.
I love it. I love it. And I know you got to be pretty happy watching those Celtics. NBA finals are going on right now. The Celtics came out there, and to all the pundits and who they call themselves experts, they're all like, oh, Golden State's got game one. Hey, last night, Boston played as a team. And even though Tatum struggled a little bit, man, look what Horford brought and look what Derek White brought. I mean, how happy are you for them Celtics right now?
I'm very happy for them, and I got them winning. And I'm hoping in 6 because I'm supposed to be going to game 6 in the Garden. So I hope they win it in 6. They might win it. They might win it in 5, but they playing extremely hard basketball. That's what they've been doing all year. Udoka, he's a hell of a coach.
Yes,
and he did it. But he coached with Pop all those years in San Antonio. Then he coached with Doc Rivers with the Sixers, and he lived and learned. He went through it, and now he's a rookie coach, first year coach, doing extremely well. The Celtics, that's you. I'm happy for him, and I'm a big time Celtic guy. I played 5 years my career there, and I never won a championship there, but I that's why I want to go up to a game. I know it's going to be crazy at the arena, but it's a great feeling to know that they're doing so well.
Yep. And I'll tell you what I'm enjoying about Ime Udoka coming from Nigeria. Here's a guy, like you said, was patient. He waited his time,
Yeah.
but his rapport with his players and the trust that he has in his players, and he's putting those players in a position to be successful. And yet you got Al Horford leading, just with his experience on the bench and in the locker room. Hey, they're sneaky good, and I'm tell you what, they're surprising a lot of people right now. But Ime Udoka is guiding that ship to perfection.
Yes, he definitely is. They're surprising some people, but I don't know why they're surprising. If you
Right,
watch them all year,
right.
they're a very good team. Number one, Al Horford is the guy that played more games than anybody in the history. In the playoff game, he never been this far. So I'm happy for him. He's playing well.
That's right.
Smart is a great point guard. Uh, Tatum and the Brown, they got and White, they got a good team. They got guys coming off the bench to contribute. So it's
Yes,
just a good team effort. But most of all, Udoka, the head coach, you got to give him a lot of credit. How he just turned it around. He turned everything around in January because they was losing
that's
all those
right.
games. Then they went on a winning streak,
Yep.
and he started playing extremely well. They
You know
started
what?
playing extremely well.
They never panicked and they made
Never.
subtle adjustments. But what they don't get enough credit for is defense. They
No,
play
no.
good team defense and they're on a string and they communicate and they're active and they have active hands. And that's something that I'm enjoying seeing on the offensive side because they don't panic on offense either. They're going to get their points.
Yeah, I'm impressed with their defensive skill because I was on Boston. We was the third best team in defensively, the third best, and they're number one. So it takes a lot of communication, um, and they're on the same page. And the number one thing is you really got to care. You want to stop somebody, and
That's
they
right.
want to stop people. And they're playing one of the highest scoring duos, Clay and Curry, they're playing. They played them extremely well last
Yep.
night.
Well, it's funny to me because you hear all of the analytics, but what I'm seeing is they play with heart. And
Yeah.
if you can play with heart and passion and purpose, good things are going to happen, coach.
Oh, definitely. Heart, and the purpose and togetherness. They have all three. They play so well together, and that's what it's about. The game of
Amen.
basketball.
Amen. Coach, we've got like 4 or 5 more minutes. Leave us with some less life lessons that you want to share with the viewers because you're so selfless right now, giving of your time. And I can't thank you enough for that. But share some words of wisdom that you haven't shared before that would hit somebody out there.
I've said it all along. I've always say this. Treat people how you want to be treated.
Golden
You know,
rule.
that's the golden rule. And when you be on, my coach from high school, just be on time. For whatever you have to do. So I'm usually a half hour on time for whatever I have to do, and just live your life. You just live. I became much selfless now because I've lost my mother, my brother, and people in my life that's very important to me. But just live life the right way and care about other people's feelings. And if you can do that, and you live the right way, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, and Coach, I appreciate this is the first time you and I have ever spoke face to face or
Yeah.
have had a connection. But if there's anything that I can ever do for you with my experience, or hey, I know certain players, I may have to send some there to the HBCU to help you out. But man, I love what you're doing. I love the passion that you have. I love how selfless that you're being with your character. And I know great things are going to happen, and you're going to keep on impacting the lives like you've done here throughout your career.
Oh, thank you, man. And that's all I'm trying to do is to give back and to see what happens. But I'm happy right now, at Fisk University, coaching these young men and you know talking about the game, the game of basketball and the game of life to these young men, and how can I be a bigger part in their lives to help them grow as human beings, and that's what I'm trying to do. It's a great thing right now. I'm
Uh,
51. I'm
yeah,
51, so I got my whole life ahead of me. So, it's just a blessing. But I got to do the right thing. For them to see me do the right thing, they got to do the right thing.
right. Yeah, you're leading by example. And again,
Exactly.
that's part of that true point guard tangible that
Yep.
you learned on the court, that even though you may not articulate it, but that's exactly what you're doing right now, brother. And I'm happy for your family, your kids, your wife. I know it's a family affair, and you're building a culture of family. You're building a culture of hard work, and,
Yep.
and you're teaching these kids the right thing. And I'm proud of you, brother. And I want you to continue to do that.
Yep. I will. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, God bless you, Kenny. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Anderson, guest on the Coach Scott Field Show today. I can't thank him enough for his time. I could go on and on with the honors and the accolades, but right now, his heart and his spirit is glowing. And I can see you glowing. You got that cigar out there in front of the gym. You're out there working out those players. Brother, life is good. And thank you for sharing your story, your trials, your tribulations, and thank you for your kind words to empower this wonderful platform that we have on our show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. It was a pleasure. And I always say, stay up, regardless,
Amen.
stay up.
Amen. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for tuning in to another edition of the Coach Scott Field Show. I am honored and humbled to have had Kenny Anderson here with us. And let me tell you something. I reached out to him via Twitter and he responded back. And look what just happened, because Kenny, thank you. I appreciate you. Even though we ran in the same circles for years, hey, you're a brother, and I got nothing but love for you. So keep it up.
Thank you, Coach Scott, my man.
Fisk, go see them, go support them. They're going to be doing big things.
Thank you.
HBCU, baby. Hey, I know you're impacting the community, so keep up the great work.
Thank you so much, my man.
Yes, sir.